So to include your JavaScript in your project, you would want to, the same way you added your CSS, you would also want to go and add a JavaScript file. And now you can create a new file, and usually JavaScript is denoted by script, only script.js. Okay, so .js means it is a JavaScript file. So I also want you to take note of the signs of our files. So each time you put in the extension, the file automatically changes its sign. You see how our styles have changed sign, and our index also has this sign. Now this sign is because Microsoft Edge is my default browser, so I can decide to change my default browser to be Chrome. So if I choose another app, I would make my default browser to be Chrome, and watch out how my index would change color. Alright, so because I've chosen that, watch out how my index has changed color, but my script and styles remain the same. That is because the default browser is what the index takes its picture from. Great. So now let's get back to coding. Now that you have added your script.js, you would also want to include your script.js in your index.html. So remember, if you do not include your files into your index.html, your index.html will not understand what you are trying to do. So it does not have any connection. Think about it as a battery, a bulb, and a wire. So it needs a wire to the battery needs a wire to connect to the bulb, and the bulb needs a wire to connect to the battery for it to illuminate. So in this case, let us go into the index.html, and now we can include our script. So inside the index.html and let me close down this and extend this. So inside here, let's see how we can create a script, reference our script. So to do that, we'll use the script tag. Okay, so we use the script tag. All right, so the script tag has a closing tag and an opening tag. All right, so let's now tell our script tag the source of our script. The source of our script will be our script.js. Notice how it has picked up the script.js. All right, so now we have included our script into our HTML. Now let's save it. Okay, so now that we have saved it, let us go to our script.js to see if it has connected to our HTML. So to do that, let us write a simple JavaScript code, which would be alert, and let's put this to be hello world. Okay, so seeing this, we can save this, Ctrl S, and let us see what our project looks like. So if we refresh, hooray, we have our JavaScript has been enqueued to our HTML. So this is the code that we've written, which says hello world. So you can click OK. So that means that our JavaScript has been included in our HTML. So every other code that we write on here would definitely be active. All right. So JavaScript is another programming language of its own. So you can go right into JavaScript, which it takes a very long time for you to really grasp, or it takes a lot of professionalism to get into JavaScript. This is very, very advisable because most, if not all, that you will be doing as a web developer will be fondling with JavaScript. So the best place to place your script tag would not be the head section. The best place to place it would be just above the body, the ending body tag. Alright, so let's place our script tag just above the end body tag. So this you would understand later, because if you run this in the head tag, you will realize that the page loads before it loads the head section. So but then when you place it just above the body section, then it becomes quite useful there. So now let's make our form to be functional. Okay, so this is our form that we had. So this is our form, and now we want to make our form so that if someone puts an email, let's say John Doe at gmail.com, then we should be able to, and the person also puts, let's say this is a test email. So if the person clicks the submit button, it should be able to submit. So at this point it doesn't submit anything. Okay, so it doesn't submit anything. So we want to make this our submit button to be functional. All right, so now let's do that. Let's get over to our page and our HTML. Inside our HTML, we want to put our the ID of our form to be what? Let's call it my form. All right, let's call it my form. All right, so now that we have my form and we also have our submit button here, so let's continue. Let's save this and let's go to our script now and write some JavaScript. So let's continue with saying let form be equal to document dot get element by ID, and let's call it our my form. Let's just see how we named it there as my form. Okay, so let's show it to be my form, and then now that we have my form, now let's continue with form dot add event listener. Add event listener. All right, and let's say that our event listener should listen on submit, and then it should also have a comma, and let's now put an element E inside, and this should be equal to greater than curly brackets. Okay, so inside our curly bracket we want to put E dot prevent default, and let's put that in bracket. So what this does is that for instance, before we save, our page is, each time we click on the submit, it returns us back. So it returns us back. So it kind of prevents, form resubmission. Okay, so that would be that. And then let's continue by saying that let email be equal to document dot get element by ID. Alright, and our ID would be email. Okay, so let's say that this email is the one from the ID. Our email ID is email. Okay, so let's go back, put a semicolon, and then let us also get our message. Our message should be equal to document dot get element by ID, and let's call it a message. Okay, so now we've gotten our element. So we want to be able to make sure that the user inputs values into our form. So to do that, we'll have to use an if-else statement. So if the user, or if our email value is empty, all right, and message dot value is equal to empty,